Welcome back, everybody, to the YouTube channel. Okay, before we begin, I have a lot to cover about the actual civilization restarts. But before that, let's do a little bit of a warm-up episode. A warm-up episode? No, let's do a little bit of a warm-up war. And that is going to be the Ottoman invasion of these random dudes. Uh, yeah, let's get straight into this. So the Ottomans, they're gonna launch the invasion right from here. They're gonna do pretty well, actually, capture a lot of territory. Now, the reason the Ottomans are doing this is to actually uh surround this Crimean colony. That was way too much. Surround this Crimean colony and kind of force the Crimeans to finally give the control of the Bosphorus Strait back to the Ottomans. Because if you remember, the Ottomans lost that and then they never got it back ever again. And this was like a really long time ago when the Ottomans were really weak, but now they're really strong. Anyway, the capital of that country falls almost immediately, and the Ottomans see basically no resistance to the invasion, since a lot of people living here are from the Ottoman Empire or descendants of the Ottoman Empire. Also, this country is just really poor, so no one really cares enough. And yeah, it's quickly capitulated. So, with that, these random dudes who, mind you, lived way longer. Like, this country existed way longer than it should have. I should have gotten rid of this very long ago, but I did not. Sadly, that was a mistake I made. I should have gotten rid of this. Anyways, I'm not going to erase the border because technically Athens claims all of this. Yeah, you already know how it is. Anyways, now before we move on to anything else, I basically want to say if you look around the map a little bit, maybe you didn't notice, maybe you noticed. If you look around the map a little bit, things just look kind of weird, just a little bit off, not exactly like how they used to be. And that is because basically, zoom out actually, show the entire screen, don't cut anything out at this part. Basically, as you can see, I use Paint 3D to make this series, and Paint 3D has been discontinued from the Microsoft Store. It's honestly a really bad app, but it's the best app that I know of, and it's the easiest app to use for me to make this kind of content. Basically, what happened was there was an update, a Windows update, and Paint 3D, the folder for it got completely reset, and all the files got deleted. So that's why we haven't had a Civilization Restarts episode in so long, because I have literally gone through all of my thumbnail from the latest video, aside from this one, and I've pasted it, I've like traced it onto this stuff. And like, oh my god, y'all don't even know the effort it took to recreate this map. I'm actually really proud of how this looks. Like, this thing looks absolutely disgusting. This looks nothing like what it used to. Same with this. Like, you can tell it's not the same. It's better than nothing. Oh, especially this. This was my one of my favorite countries. It looks nothing alike anymore. So yeah, it's not the same, but it's better than just not having civilization restarts. I was actually really debating if I just start a season 3 and we forget season 2 completely, just because like it was unrecoverable. I tried to recover the files; they were corrupted beyond repair. Actually, they weren't even corrupted. I tried using a bunch of recovery apps. Even they couldn't find the files. Like, Windows overwrote the files. So yeah, I hope you guys understand this. Understand the struggle. The struggle is real, but it is what it is. Doesn't mean that we should just stop the series completely. We can still enjoy the series. Just know that if things look a little bit off, that's why. But yeah, let's get back into the series. Uh, I'm gonna be backing up this series literally every episode now, so hopefully something like this never happens again. But we never know. Uh, yeah. So now that y'all know that, let's get back into the series. Can we just note how well I repaired this though? Like, this was all tracing from the last video's thumbnail. So yeah. Anyways, also one more thing, because we haven't had a Civilization Restarts video in like 2 weeks because of this problem. Next video will not be a gaming video. It will actually be another Civilization Restarts video. So you'll get two in a row as kind of an apology type thing. So you'll get two in a row to kind of like balance everything out, and then we'll be back to our original schedule as always. Also, if you noticed, if you're a regular viewer, there were just 7 days without a video, which is the longest I've gone in a while without uploading. And that was because I was working on this. So like, Yeah. Anyway, let's get to it. So the red team actually, uh, France actually, not the red team. The French are basically like, you know what? We're done. We are such a big power. We control so much of Europe. Why don't we have a colony? So they send out colonialists across the world, literally everywhere, to establish a colony. First place they send it near Norway. They try to set it up right here. Fails miserably. Next place, they send a couple right here. Actually, I think I forgot to add something. I feel like there used to be something here. It's okay. I'll add that right now. But like they try to set it up there. Fails really miserably. Yeah, so I did go ahead. I did see that. Well, I was right. I was right. That was definitely a part that used to be colonized. So we can just go ahead, add that back in. Anyways, though, yeah, so the colony over there fails, and then they decide to keep pursuing Siberia. They keep going. This time, they try over here. Doesn't even last like a little bit. Actually, the people that are forced to live here kind of like leave the colony and they go into this area instead. So like, yeah, that's really bad. And then they send some into Africa, but the blue team actually kind of threatens them a little bit, saying like they can't colonize below this line. Because if you remember, blue team kind of had this entire line like promised to them. I don't know if it was with the Mamluks or with the blue team, but the blue team, with the Mamluks or with the red team. But the blue team has a treaty with someone that says everything below this line is theirs. Because there's a red team thing here. It probably means that they have this with the Mamluks. Anyways, they basically turn France. France takes the threat because a lot of their trade is dependent on the blue team. And then they move to Australia, where they actually buy a little bit from the blue team. They basically buy a bunch of access to ports on this island and this place, and then they start sending things from there. And on the exact opposite part of of Australia, they establish an absolutely gigantic colony that quickly gets reduced to a very small colony that quickly gets reduced to something even smaller. Now, yeah, they definitely overestimated how much money they had to do this, but at least they got a colony. Also, I'm pretty sure the red team put a colony here, and they got absolutely invaded by the Indonesians. That resulted in that whole Indonesian blue team war. So that's definitely about to happen to the French as well. I don't think they can really afford a war with the entire blue team, but it's okay. But yeah, the red team sees that they're like, okay, so we can't have a colony on uh um Australia, but you guys can. So how about you guys, being the only country who does not absolutely hate us in that has a colony on Australia? How about you guys give us a little like autonomy, a little like little port city? You don't even have to make it for us. We'll make it ourselves. Just give us something on here. So the red team basically gives that proposal to the French. The French say no. Red team gets really mad. They basically say the French are endangering the red team's ambitions of colonization. They declare the French actually an enemy of the state, and they close all their ports to France in retaliation. So now the French are kind of stuck inside of the Mediterranean. Suez, they can't go through that anymore. Malacca, they can't go through that anymore. This, not really, like, it gets blockaded, but like, I guess they could kind of still go to it. But like, that doesn't matter. If they wanted to get over here to the blue team capital, which is like the country they trade with the most right now, if they wanted to get over there, they would now have to go all the way like that instead of just going like that. So yeah, the French pretty mad at this, and in retaliation, what they do is they basically sign an economic pact with the blue team and the Abuja Republic. Now, these two are really big enemies of the red team right now. They also sign a military pact with Athens, which is an enemy of the Ottomans who are really close to the red team. So yeah, all of this kind of starts building up, and then there's a skirmish. Basically, a bunch of red team troops who are being really stupid decide to open fire and attack a little bit of French troops. Now, if you're new, basically this entire thing and this entire thing are both claimed by the red team, and this attack actually takes over here. So a little bit of them, they actually launch. Actually, no, the skirmish happens over here, and basically a little bit of red team young troops. It's like a really young group of them. They basically launch a little bit of a skirmish, basically just for fun, I guess. I don't know how that could be for fun, but like they do it. They invade a little bit. The French troops open their fire in retaliation. They kick these guys out. They kill a lot of them. Only one guy makes it out alive. and he actually gets chased hard by the French, and they kill him. But they also attack his position and capture the town, the border town near that area. They also capture a little port city right there. Anyways, news gets to the red team. The red team basically contacts the French. They're like, "What did you just try to do, bro?" French are like, "You started this." And yeah, those tensions, they result in basically nothing. The French pull out. However, the tensions are at an all-time high. And actually, basically both sides begin fighting along this border, which is a really high tension point right now because it's like that's the claimed territory. Like that's more heated than over here. These are like grown adults, not those little like those young guys that fought over there. But yeah, and eventually a general from here, uh, he almost gets killed in a skirmish, like the fight, the brawls that are happening across this border. You know the India and China border, like over here somewhere, where it's like people with sticks and people with like sticks just fighting because guns are banned. That's basically what's happening right now here, and basically the general almost gets hurt, and he says that this is getting too really bad, and yeah, things boil over basically, and the red team generals along the border decide to launch an invasion at night. And so they launch the invasion. It's really bad for the French. The French were not expecting this at all. Basically, the entire claimed land falls almost immediately, just because the French were not expecting this. Like they would have definitely prepared a lot more if they knew this was going to happen. The French were basically like, "This is just going to be status quo from now on, and it'll boil over eventually, and we'll be fine." Yeah, that didn't happen because as the generals do this, they actually also send that information that they're doing this to the red team, and the red team actually for once supports their generals instead of just saying no, that you're idiots for doing this. Which normally them saying that leads to peace, which is I guess a good thing. But yeah, no, they mobilize the entire military. They send an all-out invasion of France. They actually land in a French-controlled Italian territory, which is like a really big thing for the French that they had this. It was kind of technically their overseas territory, their only overseas territory. Oh, and this, I guess. But yeah, they invade, capture all this. That thing had a lot of resources that the French needed to sustain their southeastern part of the country. So yeah, that's gonna get knocked out. A huge invasion is gonna be launched from the border down here in the south. It's gonna completely destroy the French over there, and then the red team is also gonna launch an attack over here. So yeah, the French have just lost a lot of stuff. The Crimeans actually step in. They're gonna say we're shutting down the border over here to not let the red team and the French fight over this. Um, they also close the Bosphorus to any red team vessel from these ports that is trying to go out and fight the French. Um, the way they're defining fighting any vessel that's trying to go fight the French, the way they're defining that is literally they're saying if any of our policemen think you're gonna go try and fight the French and you're a military vessel from the red team over here, we're just not gonna let you exit. Which is really bad because if you remember, the red team has this thing right here, which is like their biggest military naval facility on the in the entire Mediterranean. So that's really bad. The red team basically realizes they need to do this via land. The lowlands, they're gonna get conquered real fast, and eventually with this, France is gonna realize they might be a little bit cooked. Also, the red team's gonna launch another invasion right here. They're gonna start capturing all of this, and they're gonna reach the French capital. Now, at this point, I think France has realized that they can't do this alone. Also, stay hydrated. Anyway, yeah, they realize they can't do this alone. They're gonna contact the blue team. Blue team's gonna be like, "Fine, we'll help you." And the blue team, actually, no, they're not gonna say that. They're gonna say like they don't want to get involved militarily, but they do give a lot of money. Um, yeah, that money takes a while to arrive, and in that while, this city, the outskirts are now completely gone, and these guys are gonna start encroaching onto the uh, the city itself. Ottomans are also gonna get involved in this war because of France's support for for Athens. Now, before the Ottomans really liked the French, but after this, they're not gonna like them so much, and they're basically going to launch a naval invasion of all of this stuff. That's gonna go really well. They're actually gonna capture the entire coast. And yeah, from there they're gonna basically spread out to capture the southeast. And at this point, the French are completely discombobulated, and they're willing to agree to an unconditional ceasefire, not even a peace treaty, unconditional peace treaty. Now, quickly after they give this offer, the red team actually capitulates the capital. The capital finally falls, as well as a blitzkrieg thing is made right here that allows the red team to capture all of this. So yeah, with that, um, peace negotiations, the red team demands literally all of this land. This, give the Ottomans this. They're willing to retract from here, but they want an independent country right here in this land, and they want the outskirts of France to be divided up completely. Yeah, France kind of has no other choice. They're forced to do that, and also the red team does another thing. They actually they're going to also ask the French. They're gonna no, not ask. That's the wrong word. They're not asking in this situation. They're gonna force the French to give up this thing. Now, at first they wanted to annex it, but then they realized that the blue team was literally gonna crash out in the worst ways possible and literally declare war on the red team if they annex that. So instead, they just let go of it. They just tell France to get rid of it completely. So yeah, that's completely gone now. Like it never even existed. Any memory you had of that, just wipe it away because it doesn't exist. Actually, I feel like I didn't even need to do that. I could have just Control Z'd. Yup. Okay. So yeah, with that, first things first, the Ottomans. Let's draw their new border. So they got all of that now. Actually, let's change that up a bit. Yeah, they got all of that. Red team, they're gonna take this. Ottomans are gonna take that. Red team's gonna take this and this, but they're not gonna annex it completely because it's like French stuff. Um, they're actually going to get France to just completely abandon this territory right here, which is going to be really crazy. Um, all of this is going to be left under French control. All of this is going to be left under French control. This is going to be created into two new states, and actually a border state right here. Actually, no. You know what? These three states are going to be new states, and then there's going to be another Spanish type state right here. France has been greatly destroyed. I'm going to be honest. Like they might have got a really bad whooping. So okay, firstly, that new country. Then we can get this new country. We can get this new country. We can get this new country. Actually, I feel like I want to make this a country too, so we can just get another thing right there for these guys. Ready? Okay. So that's that, I guess. France has now fallen completely. They're no longer on any sort of leaderboard. Um, yeah, they're just gone. Like let's be real, they're not making a comeback from this. If I'm being honest, they also technically still have control of this though. It's like we'll see. The red team actually has no way to do anything to that. Or even these guys are gonna try to probably become separate from France soon, soon they are. But next thing, where's my phone, bro? I need those notes. I need those notes. Not planning. Okay. So next thing we're doing is Crimea. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Crimean basically scouts get sent upwards because some troops from Moscow kind of came down in these towns and they kind of looted them and people are saying they're really organized for being barbarians or non-nation, barbarian. Like basically normally when an attack happens outside of colonized land, people are just like, "Oh yeah, it's okay. It was like the native population of the land, so it's okay, it's fine. They'll get colonized by our forces," which is so evil. That's actually so crazy that they're thinking that. But this, this was different. This was a planned attack. Like normally, it's not that planned. It's just kind of a thing to keep the countries at bay, not go into the native territory. Like if Stan's trying to colonize all this, the people living here are definitely gonna fight back. That's different. This was for resources, which is normally something that doesn't happen that much. Just because if the people living here who are trying to not get colonized, if they really want resources, they may as well just sign a treaty for kind of autonomy and then give Stan all of this land. But yeah, this happens, and basically the Crimeans send a lot of troops here because the people that live here are really like good friends with the Crimeans, and so the Crimeans go up, and a lot of their men get killed as they by weird individuals, like individuals who seem really, really aggressive, almost like they're protecting something. They start getting killed by those guys. Eventually, they do make it to the border, and they realize this is an entire country. This is the first impression Moscow has made to the rest of the world, and it's already a really, really bad impression. Anyways, a diplomat is sent over. The Moscow leader kills him, like just dead, because he basically sends the body back with a letter saying he does not want to be connected with the rest of the world. Crimea basically says, well, we're not just going to let you kill a random dude of ours. They also realize that this land is really rich in resources, so they invade. Crimean invasion is launched from the south. Their superior tech is able to kind of not really do that much, just because like it's not that much superior. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys were made up of people who like ran away from over here and over here and over here, something like that, just like a couple of episodes ago. So like they're not that behind the rest of the world because they have other world technology with them. Like they have the rest of the world's technology, like pretty recent technology. So yeah. Anyways, all of this gets invaded, completely destroyed, and Crimea kind of runs out of money. Like this is a guerrilla war that they need to get troops to over land that's not even colonized, and this is the same as the blue team fighting with the Persians and having to send troops through over here. Also, I just realized I missed another thing. There was definitely a blue thing right there as well. So yeah, don't worry about that. I will definitely be adding that by next episode. That will be added back. Don't you worry about that. But yeah. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, you know something's up. I just go through this. I see things, and I just notice. Oh yeah, I forgot to add that back. So yeah, that's just something we're gonna have to live through. You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna have to deal with that. Like, I'm gonna fix it when I see it, but like if I get something wrong, don't be mad. It's okay, mistakes happen. But yeah, the Crimeans are gonna pull out, but like they're also gonna realize that we might have just created a really bad situation for us. Also, Moscow finally introduces themselves to the rest of the world through Poland. Actually, they sent a diplomat over there, then they introduce themselves to the rest of the world. So they are now a public country, which means they have trade as well. Also, these guys never undeclared their war, never signed a ceasefire or anything, so they're still at war, and still a lot of attacks happen on security forces in this region from Crimea. So yeah, next, Stanistan and friends. Basically, we're just gonna get rid of the rebel countries now. Just all these two, they're just gonna get invaded and cooked, absolutely whooped around, just like slapped around. Not really like nothing's really gonna stop anyone from doing this. This is honestly a really like boring part of the episode. I'm gonna be honest. I told y'all this like last episode or something like that. These guys were never meant to survive this long. That there should never have been this many states inside of this part of the world. I don't know what I was thinking when I added all of that. But yeah, that is most definitely now gone. Uh let's let's let's. So I think we can just extend the border right here, give this land to these guys. They can also have just a little bit of this land right like that. Yup. And this is the new map. You guys like it? Because that's probably what's going to be like for a really long time now. It's probably going to be like this land. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's that. Let's move on to the next part of the story while I'm doing this. So, oh, actually, that is the end of the video. So that's crazy. Um, yeah. Anyways, as I said, next video will also be a Civilization Restarts video just because, you know. Honestly, you know. So, like, yeah, with that, have a nice day. This was really rushed because I realized that, like, I was gonna sit down and think of a lot of stuff to do this video, but then I realized that it's been 8 days since I uploaded. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's gonna be a lot of stuff happening next video and in the series. Subscribe, don't miss that. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.